And time now for Premier's Picks with the Premier of the province, Brad Wall, joining us on a Thursday. Premier, how are you doing?
Ofer checking in. How are you guys?
0 for 4, yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but
Oh, you weren't? Jamie, is that the truth?
I was just going to bring up the 5 correct picks you've had in 20 chances so far this season.
Yeah, well, that would have been a little slightly a kinder gesture, certainly, but still, obviously, not very good. Not very good.
There's nobody over 500. Jamie's 10-10 though, and that's the best record of anybody. It's probably because everybody's been picking the Rough Riders, though, don't you think?
Well, probably. And Daryl, you know what I also think? He is. I mean, this is what he does for a living. Well, you too, frankly. But he does this for a living, so we should expect a little better performance from him. Jamie, you've been remarkably, understated. You haven't been you haven't been spiking the football in the end zone, and you haven't been trash talking, which is greatly appreciated. I'm sure you're not going to start now.
No, because it's a long season, and you just never know what's going to take place.
You're only 10-10. It's nothing great. You wouldn't be making much money in Vegas.
I've been looking around.
We can close the gap like the Riders. Are only 2 games out of third spot.
Yep.
Mind you, we don't. We're down to kind of third string quarterback, and that's still we're only 2 games out of third place, I think, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah, that's true. They're catchable.
Yeah. Yep.
But the tough one is that they lost that season series to BC because the Lions look to be the team that they would have the best chance of catching.
Might be the Bombers.
Well, they can pass the Bombers. It doesn't matter. They have to catch somebody else.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
What's up with Drew Willie? Is this sort of one game and back, or
he's playing this? Okay. He's playing tonight against the BC Lions, and of course taking the fan vote this year. The fans up against the Premier, myself and Gary the King Nickel. The fans are actually in second place. They had the best record last week with 2 and 2. They have 8 correct so far. They're 8-12, so fans weigh in now. Game number 1 on the agenda that we're taking your fan vote right here, right now, is the Winnipeg-BC game. We'll get to the other 3 later in the show, but BC-Winnipeg is the vote right now at 306, so text us. Who do you have in that game between the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight? But, Premier, let's get your thoughts on Brett Smith being the guy at the helm in Toronto, or in Edmonton, sorry.
The little bit I saw him in the preseason, and I didn't see the game. I didn't see the game on Sunday, so I understand it wasn't. It was a little bit of a tougher outing, but in the preseason he looked pretty good, and now he's had a whole week of reps. They obviously went with him for a reason over Tino as the third stringer, and of course Sinceri's back now too. But they went with him for a reason, and he's had a week to practice with the starting offense, so we can give him some protection. Who knows?
Well, technically, it's only been 1 day of practice because they had a few days off. But
I guess that's right. So 1 day of reps, but I mean a day of realizing that he's the starting quarterback.
That might help too. Jamie and I were discussing that just the fact knowing that you're stepping in there sometimes helps you a little bit, relaxes you, and says, okay, they all have to kind of work with me together on this, and they've got their support. So.
Well, here's his chance, right? And this is going to be right on the biggest stage of his career so far, certainly of his professional career. But here's his big chance.
Rocky Butler, 2002. Let's have him do it all over again.
We're clinging to all those memories like grim death.
Yeah.
Why
not? What else do we got to hold on to right now in this season?
I don't know. I'm just still worried about the defense. I didn't see the game, but I understand we still didn't have the pass rush, and I know we got so many starters out, but the front line, the defensive line's basically intact. So what's your thoughts on that, guys?
They're talking about it. Even the players themselves are saying we have to get more pressure on the quarterback, and they have to try some different things. They've still got talent. Alex Hall hasn't forgotten how to play. It just seems like he's not doing the right things. John Chick can still be a force. The weakness, I think, Mr. Premier, is that they had to put a Canadian in there, and those 2 young kids just aren't quite ready to become a force on that offensive line yet.
Yeah, it shows you. Yeah, I think you're right, Del. It shows you what a big deal the interior is. It matters for the guys on the edge. You're right.
Joel, let's bring Gary in, who's doing okay. He's got 7 correct so far this year. He's in third. The fans are in second. I'm in the lead. The Premier of the province is being modest and getting off to a slow start this season.
Well, and it's good to have the humble and demure Gary on the show, who's not going to do any trash talking either. How are you doing, Gary?
Oh, is Gary there? Gary?
8.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hello.
Oh,
hey,
sorry.
fellas. Mr. Premier, I'm feeling great. I just want to apologize to you again personally because I know in my contract for this segment I'm supposed to lose to you, and I'm doing everything I can. It's just not working out right now. I'll try even harder. I promise.
I didn't know you were under contract. Quite surprised.
Yeah, well,
I thought you were like me. We were just doing this for the fun.
At this pace, I won't be under contract long. I need to start losing now.
That was my understanding you were a volunteer. Oh, look at that. Anyways, we can continue on. Let's start off with BC Winnipeg. The fans are voting on that game right now, so keep those texts coming at 306-306. A lot of fans going with the BC Lions, so if you don't like that pick and want to go with Winnipeg, you better overrule your brethren on the text line at 306. But Premier Wall, who do you got with Drew Willie starting tonight against the Lions?
I like the Leos.
Premier Wall going with BC. I am also going with the BC Lions. Gary Nickel.
Well, I've been talking with my co-host on the Fan Zone, again, live during the show. Check it out. Super fantastic. And I think we're starting an NWO movement here, a little movement to show you guys how the younger guys do it, and we're taking the Bombers, the Fan Zone pick.
Not many people got that reference.
The NWO is an obscure WWE reference.
Yeah, I was like, nobody's going to understand that reference.
It's actually WCW, you guys, and I knew the Premier would get it, and that's all that matters. Look out.
Well, who? No, I'm not going to get into it. I was going to say who was part of the original NWO, and I believe it was X-Pac in there. And no.
We had the Outsiders with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, who of course were Razor Ramon and Diesel,
and Hulk Hogan.
And then now, yeah, we don't.
Can we mention
talk
him?
about that. We don't say that name anymore.
We can't mention him.
No.
Okay.
So
But that guy was there too.
Huh.
Anyways,
Maybe you can just. What was he in Rocky? What was his? He was Thunderlips or something.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
you
he had
just
a
refer to him as
sweet
that
name.
instead of the other thing because of what he's done.
Yeah, it's a sad time.
Not good.
Let's keep moving, Jamie.
Yeah, let's move on.
That's right, but we digress.
Everybody who grew up in the late 80s and 90s who had posters of him are like, can we just move on? We don't want to talk about this. Friday night, it is the Riders and the Eskimos in Edmonton, 7 o'clock. The kickoff arc. Pre-game coverage starts at 3. Now, Premier, I don't know if you heard the diatribe at the start of the show, but I said we'll give you an out this week. We will. The province. I speak for the province of Saskatchewan that will give you an out this week. Only 1 week. This is your only week you can ever do it and pick against Saskatchewan.
Don't do it.
I can't. I just can't do it. I would never do that. It's part of my job. It's part of the job description. Riders.
Okay, there you go.
Way to be stubborn.
It's not stubborn. It is blind faith. That's what that is.
No, it's voting season is what it is.
Might be a kind way to describe it.
All right.
I'm going with the Eskimos.
The Fan Zone will also go with the Eskimos.
Now the fans can we'll move over to that when the fans have spoken. They're going with the BC Lions. So the fans now vote Edmonton, Saskatchewan. Who do you got? 306. Get in. You have about 10 minutes to get in for the Riders Eskimos game before we move on. So Saskatchewan, Edmonton. Who do you got? 306. The first vote in is for the Edmonton Eskimos. We'll see if the fans have gone with Saskatchewan every week too, and somehow they've gotten 8 correct. So they're doing well on that order. So we'll see if they move over to the Eskimos this time. Saturday, it's the Montreal Alouettes. Rakeem Cato trying to go 2-0 against the Calgary Stampeders.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. Stamps.
I have Montreal in an upset in this one. This is my upset of the week, the Montreal Alouettes. That defense is good.
And you take that upset of the week every week, Jamie, and you're still winning. You're really good at sports. I'm going to go with the Stamps as well. I like the way the Mr. Premier is leaning there.
No, Gary, you got that wrong. I am very good at talking about and predicting sport. I am not good at sport, or I wouldn't be on the radio.
Well, Daryl's also
a good point.
You're 500. Yeah. You know, we're not talking about lottery winning numbers here.
Plus, he looks after the whiteboard, so he might not really be 500.
That's right.
I've always been calling collusion ever since the start of this segment.
Jamie, just don't take the rent money down to Vegas based on these numbers. I know you're beating. You're ahead of us, but
it doesn't say much.
Everything's relative.
Yeah,
it is. Although I am 21st in the country on TSN Fantasy Football right now.
Really?
Wow.
There it is.
How many people in the 25, 26 in the pool?
22, actually. Let's get to the final game of the week. So Monday Night Football at Tim Hortons Field. Get the coffee ready and the donuts and whatever else you want to eat at Tim Hortons. But the Toronto Argonauts in Hamilton as the Tiger Cats are at home for the first time this year. Premier Wall?
I'm going to go with the Ticats.
That is a good decision. I am also going with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Gary Nickel.
The Fan Zone will take the jalapeno spicy chicken sandwich and the Argos.
The Toronto Argonauts. There is Premier's picks for Week 6 in the CFL. Premier, we'll see if you can start the comeback now.
Rally caps are on. Not a lot of love on this week's show. I think we should try to pick up the love a little bit next week.
Everybody's
love you,
nasty
Mr.
in this.
Premier.
Everybody's mad in this province because of the 0-5 record.
Yeah.
I think it's carrying
Everybody's
over.
a bit angry.
Yep.
That's right.
Premier, will have a great long weekend.
Thanks very much, Jamie. Take care, guys.
All right.
There is the Premier of the province, Brad Wall. His picks are BC, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and Hamilton. The vote we're getting now, the fan vote right now, is Saskatchewan and the Edmonton Eskimos. Who do you got on Premier's picks? The fans, the fans, are second right now in Premier's picks on the season. So 306, who do you have between the Riders and the Eskimos on Friday night? This is the Green Zone on 980 CJME.